morning, everybody. I hope that woke you up. My name is Sakawis, and one of the organizers here that organized this very important event. And I want to say excuse me for speaking in front of my elders. It was quite a community effort to put this together. Many people from the community came out to get this going, and we know that this is an important event in and of itself, highly important that we do this. And we also know that many people are struggling right now because of what's happening in Canada and what's going to be happening much more so all over Turtle Island as we move forward with this process of reparations, of rematriation, reconciliation, healing, and truth. And I just want to say thank you to the Urban Native Center and Ho-Chunk Renaissance and Great Plains Action Society and so many people in the community that came together to put this very important event on. And with that, I want to say hello to our honored guests as they come through with these children, taking them home to their lands so they can be with their relatives in the way that they should have always been. So I would like to say hello. Tansi, thank you for being here. And I would like to give you the mic to introduce yourself.
As a youth group, I feel it's important that we introduce ourselves as the individuals of who we are.
Hello, my name is Carly Olson. I'm 22 and I'm from Parmalee community.
My name is Callie Olson. I'm 17. I'm from Parmalee.
Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Janice. I'm 21 years old and I'm from the Grass Mountain community, located on the Rosebud Indian Reservation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jaden Rose Whiting. I'm 20 and I'm from the Spring Creek community on the Rosebud Reservation.
Good morning, my name is Pijuta Krodo.
Good morning, my name is Christopher Eaglebear, 23, and I'm from the Blackback community on the Rosebud Reservation.
Mi taki api chante washte na pe chujapisto na tachankaluta we machapi na wososo wakpa hemachapa shto. Good afternoon, relatives. My name is Dinesh Rose Blackhorse. I'm from Rosebud Sioux tribe. I'm 16 years old, and yeah.
How Madakapi Asia Ishtagiwi Tantanka Safa Machapi Shto Yuhan Chante Washington Apijuzipi. Good morning, everyone. I greet you all with a good heart and a warm handshake. My name is Asia Blackbow. I'm from the Rosebud Reservation, and I am 21 years old. I'm a mother to my Ita Ziba Tokia. He's my 5-year-old son.
Good morning, my name is Shiley Brave. I'm 21 years old and I'm from Grass Mountain Community.
Good morning, my name is Jalen Barrow. I'm 20 years old and I'm from the St. Francis community.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Joshua Ironshow. I'm a soon-to-be 21-year-old and I'm from the small community of Hedog.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brooke Espinoza. I'm 20 years old from the Rosebud community.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Makbia Murray. I'm 23 years old from the Parmalee community. I'm the granddaughter to Ed and Lynette Murray, the daughter to Jonna and Cody Nightpipe, and the mother to Olivia and Jameson Murray Denham.
Ha madaki api Mallory Arrow Twachi Washtewi. Naha iu hachate washte nape chuzabiksto. My name is Mallory Arrow. I am going to be 23 years old soon. And this is my son, Kyson Chauncey.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to thank you guys all for coming out today and for your support. My name is Jessica Tuigle. I'm the project coordinator for Tokala Inagio Suicide Prevention Mentoring Program. Oh, and this is my son, Credence Tuigle.
Midaki api hihani washte. Wawachwalawi imachi api naha iuha chante washte nape chuzapi. Good morning, relatives. My name is Vicki Eaglebear, and I am one of the chaperones for these young adults and youth. We want to thank you all for this welcoming. We are extremely grateful, and we appreciate each of you.
Good morning. My name is Marcella Medicine Blanket, and I'm also a chaperone at the booth. And thank you for having us here.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here. My name is Emily Tuigo. I'm one of the descendants of the children that we're bringing home. And I'm from the two-stroke community.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcita Eaglebear. I'm from the Black Pipe community in Rosebud Reservation, and I want to thank all of you for the welcoming and the support. It just means so much to all of us. I just want to say that I'm so proud of these young people. They were all teenagers when we started this journey about 6 years ago, and so here they are. They graduated from high school, some went to college, some got married and had babies, and they just leading a wonderful life. But I just want to say again, Wopila Tanka Ichichiapi. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm just so happy. Thank you.
Monopoly. So we don't.
Thank you for that introduction. We really appreciate you being here, especially the fact that that youth are taking the lead on this this work. This is it feels good to know that the youth are on top of it. Manape, would you like to come up?
Hainipi, Hihaniwashte. My name is Manape Lemire, and I'm one of the organizers on the Sioux City end to help receive our relatives here. Last night they got in about 1:30, and we reserved a lot of great food. And I want to say thank you to Anthony Warrior for whipping some of that up. I was hoping to see some of the faces here, but Elizabeth and Betty White for putting the food, some of the food in the sandwiches and the meals, and directing the meal like that. And then, man, there's so many people to thank. I'm just going through everybody in my head, but I really appreciate all the outpouring of support for these children. And a lot of this reminds me of, Standing Rock was started by young children. And so it's a constant lesson on how we can elevate their voice. How do we get their voice up? And get them moving, get them motivated. And so we see that. We see that with action. And I'm really proud to see that. I support that all the time. I want to support your youth here in Sioux City. And so yesterday was our first time utilizing War Eagle in such a manner as a communal event. And I hope that in the future we continue that and reinforce and strengthen some of our social dysfunctions here in the city. We helped them, and then they helped us. But it is a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. We had some good conversations last night about things, and really grateful for that. Really grateful for those conversations. We kept that fire going all night, so forgive me. I'm not 100% right now. It's been a pretty hectic week, but we kept that fire going last night. And there's little pillows inside that teepee with little toys on them. We put that staff up yesterday, and we asked Chet Stoneman to oversee the prayer, Ushichangu himself, and has relatives that over there that are being taken home. And Chet offered up that prayer for us, that invocation for the food. And we asked my little nephew Andrew to sing a song. And he sang the Lakota flag song, And he learned that because the Indian school he goes to, the youth sing, he goes to St. Francis Indian School, because we've been living in St. Francis for 4 years. And the school taught him that song, and he got pulled into the office every day to sing that song. And so we were able to call upon Andrew to offer up a song for that staff that the city has. And for that wapaha that went on top of that staff that Chet owns. So thank you, Andrew, for helping, and my companion too. All the little things that you do to help us all along. Appreciate that. Been a lot of conversations about what this means, and I said it last night. This is very triggering for a lot of people. I graduated from St. Augustine's in Winnebago, and my father graduated from different schools, went to different boarding schools. He went to Stefan and St. Augustine's, and he always kept that kind of hush-hush. And it would have to be a very intimate conversation for me and him in order for me to get any information about it. And I could see, like, in how he disciplines and how he does things, that he picked some of that up from those schools. And so I know my father was a survivor, and his brother, and a lot of his siblings, all of them. His mother, his father. And I often wonder what it's like to just would have had something normal. And so this stirs up a lot of feelings within our own families. It's very triggering. Very triggering. I didn't do too well in those school systems. And we have a relative here named George White Thunder. I've been looking around trying to find. There's George. George is related to one of those children coming back, and want to acknowledge you, George. But I read some things about that White Thunder, Ernest White Thunder, right? That's the name. Kahpe. Knocks off. That's his name. And I could relate to him. What they wrote about him, uncooperative. I was no bigger than Andrew's age, little bitty guy. And I already found that I was uncooperative to the system. And so I was drawn to that. And I hope that I can heal from my own. Can't seem to fit in here in Sioux City. Can't seem to fit into those school systems. So I think even like you look around right now, and some of our Indian children that are here, the Indian children that we honored last night, they may suffer from the inability to fit into the system. And I think we can trace a lot of this stuff back to Carlisle. Killing the Indian and saving the man. A lot of feelings come up from this. But I hope to heal from it. I hope to learn from it. And I say, Pinigi, Wopira Tonka, to each and every one of you for bringing this through, and all you relatives that come out. I know half of you like to sleep in, so I really appreciate y'all coming out here. And with that, I think I'm going to offer up a song right now just to acknowledge that beautiful sun and the light and life that it brings to us. And so I'm going to ask our cameras to kind of pause for a moment. hope the sun lights your path, not just on your journey home back to Shichangu Makoche, but in life, all throughout life. Right now, we have a lot of Shichangu relatives that are at Sundance. And I know they're thinking, I said this to you last night, I know they're thinking of you. I know they wish to be here with you right now, but they have those commitments. And I think that if they were to pray for anything, it would be that your path be lit into the future, that the Creator and the Sun bless that path for you. And I hope that all your dreams come true, and I hope it's the polar opposite of what Carlisle tried to do. That government, the U.S. military, and the churches collaborated in the brainwashing of our people. They couldn't kill us, so they had to put us in a cage. They had to institutionalize us, and they had to try to brainwash us. And I know there's a lot of resentment. It's hard. It's hard to stand for the national anthem. It's easy because our relatives sacrificed, but it's hard. And I hope that with that song and the sun today, I hope that it blesses your heart, helps heal you, all of you. That's my hope for all of us. And I think that the coming together this morning and last night, the meal that was shared, I hope this helps. I hope this helps, truly. And with that, I'll turn this over, and I think we're kind of getting close to that time, for departure. Is there anybody that wants to come step forward and say some things?
Thank you for that. Thank you for all the stuff you gave us last night. We really appreciate it. One thing about this trip that we learned about us is, as Lakota people, we run on a thing called Indian time. And whether we wanted to do it or not, it happened the way it did. But yet, at the same time, we really weren't late for anything at all. These people waited for hours for us to get here, but when we showed up, they still greeted us like it was our first, like we were right on time. And when we were doing the prayer service, their teepee was set up in a way to where if you look behind it, the Milky Way, or not the Milky Way, but the Big Dipper was sitting on top of it perfectly. And in a sense, you sit there and think at the Big Dipper, and whenever it's dipping, it's picking up the people and taking them back to the stars. But when it's pouring, who knows who's coming? And maybe, these children are getting a second chance at life in the next generation to come. Maybe they'll get to do whatever they wanted to do, that they didn't get to do when they were younger. And so, first things first, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that came. It shows the unity that we have as Lakota people, as Indigenous people. It shows that we're able to come together and help one another rise. Because when one Native falls, we all fall. But when one of us rises, we all rise. And I see nothing but rising from here on out as Lakota people, as Indigenous people as a whole. One big thing that I want to say to all you guys is there's this phrase that I live by. I learned it a couple of years ago. It's Le'ampetiki malakota he wawita hecha. And what that translates out to is on this day, it's an honor to be a Lakota. And I tell myself that every morning before I do anything with my life, because every time we wake up, that's just a failed system that couldn't get rid of us. And so every time you look in the mirror, every time you braid your hair, every time you feel lost, just know that there's a fire burning inside of you that says, I am a Lakota, I am indigenous to where I come from, and I will rise again. Our voices will be heard. And, maybe it's the children's voices that have to be heard the most, and maybe that's why whenever children do something, it makes the biggest impact that sometimes adults can't make. And so moving forward, to every child that's here, every child that's gonna hear this, I encourage you, speak out, speak up. If you have visions, if you have dreams, say them. Get together and convince your tribal government to move forward with your projects, Sure, you may get knocked down, sure your voice may get shake, but keep pushing through, because that's where your strength comes from. Each and every one of you are a sign that we're still moving forward, and there are still many generations to come. So hopefully what we do now can pave a way for generations that have an easy concrete floor that the same kids that the white men's had, because we had to take a path that was all rocky, that had hills. And so hopefully what we do here from on out can create a path for the next generations to come that can have a concrete path to where it's not rough, where it's not hard. And to everyone back at home, you know, this unity that we have, I hope we remember this in tough times. I hope we remember this a couple of weeks from now when things go back to normal, that we have come together, and that the reason why we come together is for the youth. And so keep that in the back of your mind when we move forward, the youth. Because without them, we'll be no one. Without them, we'll be a forgotten race again. Oh, Chichiapiola.
I'd like to dedicate a song to the relatives that are making their way home after 142 years. This song is made by Fawn Wood. If you know it, you can help me sing it. It's Remember Me. Remember me when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There they'll be, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey, 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 hey oh, hey oh, hey, 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 hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey, 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 hey oh, hi oh, hey, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, remember me when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There I will be, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey, hey oh, hey remember me when the sun comes up in the morning sky. There I will be, soaring with the eagle so high, feeling free. Remember me down the road, hand in hand, you and me. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh. Me talk, yeah, sing.
coming off the song that she just sang, as we bring back these children, remember them. I'm trying not to get emotional right now. It's been a long, long journey of 6 years. 6 years too long to finally bring them home. And like we said before on the previous talks that we've had, this is only the beginning. You look at in front of you, and we started off as a youth group. We started off with a very small circle of only a handful of adults that believed in us. Now 6 years later, we stand with the whole nation. We never knew that we had this much love and support until now. And it's amazing to see all of you guys here because everyone now is speaking out. Everyone's shedding light onto the horrific events that were swept under the rug. Like Deb Holland said, Native American history is American history. Now that we shed light onto this only more, the truth should be shown and revealed. The black and white textbook should be changed to our history as well. And Wopila, thank you for everyone coming out here today.
Another thing that I want to add is going back on what Asia said on how American history, Native American history is American history. You know, this is a great thing for indigenous people around the world. Maybe it'll start helping us heal us as indigenous people. At the same time, heal the country as a nation. Because to move forward, we must look back and see where we messed up so we don't do it again. And hopefully, the dark history of this country is shown into light, and so that we can acknowledge what we have done and move forward in a humble way together as one. And hopefully someday, you know, I won't be speaking to just the indigenous people, but to the whole world about unity. And for the generations to come, you know, believe in your voice, because even though there wasn't much people that believed in us, all we needed was just that one person to fall back on, to show us that it's okay, keep doing what you're doing. Because someday the whole world's gonna be standing in front of you. And yet here you guys are 6 years later. And it's really humbling to see this. It's really warming to know the heartfelt handshake you guys are giving us, the support you guys are giving us. So really, all of this couldn't be done without the support of all of you guys. So thank you. Anyone have questions?
Please excuse me. I didn't know I was going to be doing this morning, so excuse the awkwardness here. Yes, thank you so much for those words and the songs. And Manape, would you like to close this out and say a prayer? Is Manape here? Oh, Manape?
Our route. So currently what we're doing right now is I'll tell you after.
Good morning, friends and relatives. My name is George White Thunder, and I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting my relatives here. You know, there's every community that they named, Parmalee, Keto. You know, my dad was from Parmalee in North South Dakota. And, you know, I really appreciate, you know, you guys doing this. And support from the Sioux City community and all over as they make their journey home. You know, there's going to be a lot of support. Last night I had my grandkids with me, and about 2 o'clock in the morning we were talking about that teepee. The teepee that was up. I was telling my grandkids, the kids are going home now, our relatives are going home. And that teepee represents home. You know, and that's, when you go away, you always return back to your homeland. But in a way, it wasn't such that we had to go and bring them home. So as they get closer to home, you know, you're going to see a lot of relatives, a lot of traditional things going on. And, you know, like Monopoly was talking about, you know, going through the schools. I got grandkids in the school system now. And, you know, I'm up there every day bumping heads with them, you know, because talking about the native things. You know, why should your kids be this way when they got to be this way? And I fight, you know, I speak my mind about that, you know, and they're native kids, you know, they've been brought up the native ways. And I'd like to thank Vicky Eaglebear, my cousin, and Marcella Medicine Blanket, you know, for carrying this out. And I'd like to say about that much, and thank you very much.
Thank you. As I look around, there's one person who really wasn't acknowledged, and his job's kind of the hardest job out of all of ours, and that's Ken Fisher. He's the one that's carrying the 9 relatives home. And so his job's the utmost important. He carries, you know, what we're doing behind him. So it's very important that I acknowledge him too. And as well as to this man sitting in front of me on the wheelchair, you know. I want to acknowledge you as well. I want to thank you for being here. And back to your question, the itinerary. And as I say this, you know, consider Indian time in there as well. So roughly there or there. But after this, we have the processions leading through the Santee Indian Reservation to where we're going to be doing a drive-through because the Santee Indian Reservation has wanted to be a part of the journey as well. And since we're on the time schedule that we're on, they decided to do a drive-by, you know, stand by and wave and leave toys out on the middle of the road. And then from there, we'll go to the Yankton Reservation in Wagner. And we'll have a meal and prayer there, And from there, we'll go to the Wheatstone Landing site, which is roughly around 2 p.m. We'll arrive there, we'll bring the children out, and then at 4 o'clock, we hopefully are on the road back to Sante Galeshka University, back home to the reservation. And from there, you know, 2, 4, 6, but take it with Indian time. And that's all I have to say. Unless you have another question.
All right, thank you. Just real quick, I wanted to allow anybody who has gifts an opportunity. Who would receive those? Any one of us. So those who have any gifts for them, you should come up now. I know Tasha had this baby blanket that she wanted to give. So you could just pick anybody to give it to. And then to offer up that invocation, before we do that, I wanted to acknowledge people from the different treaty councils that are here. I seen the Leader Charge family over there made it down. You know, traveling grace to all you guys. I know you have relationships here with prayer circles. You know, and so thank you, Pinagigi, Wopita Tonka, for making your way. I see some council members from different factions. Omaha Tribe put on the breakfast. I believe Winnebago's and Omahas and all the Santees and all these different reservations around here all pitched into different capacities, and I want to say Wopita Tanka to them, Pinagigi, Wiptaha. A lot of different individuals came and stepped forward to help us. But at this point, I'm going to ask Nate Bigfire to come up, and I know you have I know your Sundance family's over there at Crow Dog's Paradise, you know, and so I wanted to ask you to come and offer that invitation for our relatives for traveling grace. And after that, we're gonna kind of finish this out, and then we're gonna get ready to shake hands with our relatives. Nate? And my final thought of this is that this city's called Sioux City. And I know some of us have been taught about what that name means, and some of us don't like it. But when I hear the word Sioux in the Kodiapi, La Kodiapi, the word Sioux means seed. It's a seed. And we just need a little light, a little water. We're gonna grow into something healthy and strong. So that's when I think about Sioux City. A bunch of seeds growing together. So I want to offer up for anything future events. Let's do it here. Let's do it. Let's grow together and strengthen one another. So you're all welcome. You're all welcome to come back and with good thoughts, good ideas. And I'm going to turn it over to Nate now. Thank you.
Good morning, relatives. I'd like to ask my elders to excuse me. I know we have some tribal council members here, and I'd like to overlook me and then our warriors. And they asked me to come up here and make a prayer. I come from, I'm a Crow Dog and Matoluta, Kangi Shuka, and on my Lakota side. And, these are one of my grandmas that they're bringing back, her mini pipes. And that was my great-great-grandfather, Jerome Crow Dog's daughter. And they gave her the Washitu name, Dora, I believe. And then I work for the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. I work for our alcohol program. And this is, I asked if I could speak a little bit about on this intergenerational trauma that we go through as a Native people. It's passed down from father to father, from father to son, from mother to daughter, like that. And this is what I've been learning these past years is that when they brought us into the I call them POW camps or the reservation, when they brought us into the reservation life, that was ground zero for what we're going through, because they took the responsibility away from the father, they took the responsibility away from the mother, and then when they did that, they made us dependent on government. They gave us commodities, and then when they made us dependent on them, and then they took our grandmas and our grandpas to boarding schools. And so when they took that responsibility away from the father, and then what does the father do? He usually becomes depressed, hurt. And at that time, they took our way of life away from us. They said it was heathen. They took our sweat lodge. They said we worship the devil and their church. So at that time, when they did that, they made our men dependent, suicide, depressed. And then the woman usually follows the man. So when they did that, and then they introduced alcohol in there. And so when they introduced that alcohol into the reservation, the man starts drinking. And no one showed us how to drink properly and how to use it. So when they did that, that perfect storm was born. that blackness, because then we have domestic violence, violence in the home, because everything was stripped away from us and we're in depression. Our bodies were under stress. Then at that same time, our grandpas were going through that when they had them over in boarding school. They were sexually abusing them, mentally abusing them, the priests and the nuns. And a lot of our grandmas and them, they didn't make it home. So that was the perfect storm. And if our grandpas and grandmas did come home, they came home to a lot of the reservation life, where the father was now drinking and we were dependent on the government. So we have that trauma built in there. And thus we even have sexual abuse among our people, because the priests and the nuns, they did that to our people. So that's a learned behavior. So all these things that we're facing on a reservation, that's what we're fighting against. Is that trauma that they put our people through all that time ago. It's not the alcohol and the drugs that we're fighting. We're fighting the trauma from what we learned when we were little kids. The connection that the baby makes with the mother and the father at a young age, and we still have that soft spot on top of our head. So all those things, now that's what we're fighting. And then now our grandmas and our grandpas are coming home, so there's a new power coming with that. A new healing, a new understanding. So now in our Winnebago tribe, we're involving our culture a lot in the healing with our people. The Sweat Lodge, our elders. We're doing more connection with our way of life, because we have our healers, we have our doctors, we have our philosophers. They were already here. We have our medicine people. Everything that we get from the earth. So we're involving that in our alcohol program, and we're helping our people with that. Because for us, in order to heal, we have to go back to our old way of life, to our old teachings, the spiritual values, the spiritual law of the universe. Because we're our people of the earth, and that's how we need to heal. So we're involving that in our alcohol program, the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. So I didn't want to take up too much time, but I wanted to mention that we acknowledge that, and we're doing something about it. And that's what we're involving in our recovery process in our tribe, Haho. And I just want to say a quick prayer. And then this morning I burnt cedar for our relatives and everything that they're doing. Haho. It's gonna be a good day.